Welcome to the Barstool College Football Show. New intro, Brandon.
What, did you tackling?
Yeah, I think it was falling on you.
Why?
I don't know. There was some selective editing, and I know who edits that, who makes that, so and I know who has that person's number.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean,
Did we not do a show after you won last year?
no.
It didn't even. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, Jesus, man.
I would use this music now the whole season. I am the king. We are the national champs. I'm looking forward to this season, fellas. Let's have a great year.
They wouldn't tell me anything about the intro. They said that the only person that was able to see it was Dave and that there was a surprise. I didn't really anticipate that, but I know that Brandon's probably hating his life right now, along with Ev, but...
I mean,
That was unbelievable, that music.
New season.
That was unbelievable.
I mean, as soon as
That
he
was
sat
great
down
music.
and he
Can
saw
we,
the crowd-
do you have the ability to play that one more time? I don't know if
Oh
you
my
do.
God.
The
Yeah, I'm
crowd
sure
doesn't
they
even
do.
look good. It's coming up your hair.
That's smart.
It's like new age Mr. Perfect stuff.
I just have to
Yeah.
let it breathe. I just have to...
And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to start it by this. There's absolutely nothing that can happen ever again that can take away from what happened last year in the definitive period on the history of college football, the big game, everything. Ohio, you're going to hear Buckeye Brandon, or as I call him, Bro-Ohio. You're going to hear, oh, well, we paid all this money. We got this super team. No one cares. Nobody cares. It's the last year, the big game, winner take all, last time in that format. You got the playoffs. It devalues the game. It's a period explanation point. The rivalry is over. I was telling Dan, I don't look at Ohio State as my rival anymore. I look at Georgia and Alabama. Those are the two teams. We compete for national championships. So, Fat Boy in the corner and Bro Ohio, you guys can do your thing. And Ryan Day, I don't care. I'm looking at Georgia. I'm looking at Alabama. And can we repeat?
You're not on the level of Georgia. You win one fluke title in 60 years.
What do you mean? Well, we're the national champions, so I think we are, Brandon. I think we are.
You're going to go 8-4 this year.
Yeah, your word means nothing. Nothing. Because you didn't think we'd win a game last year. We won the national championship, and every week we made you, we force-fed you. I pried your mouth open and shoveled shit down there and made you eat it. So your word means nothing.
Dan, I walked into the office this morning about 5:45, and Brandon was already here pacing back and forth.
Well, that was his steps. That's not
my
pacing.
steps.
Those are his
That's my
steps.
I mean, that's pacing.
Totally, no, that's not pacing. That's
was
literally.
pacing.
That's not pacing. He's doing his steps. He's losing weight.
I'm losing
But
weight.
he-
Losing weight.
I'm
He's
down
doing
to
his steps.
264.
He's doing his steps.
You look great, but it was a different type of getting your steps in.
No. That's
No?
his steps.
Are
That's
you
his
sure?
steps. He walks in a big circle every single morning, so that's not pacing.
He was listening to Instincts, It's Gonna Be Me, kind of like a war cry. I think he knew it was coming today.
Sounds like a
little bit.
good day to start to listen to NSYNC.
It
Yeah.
does.
There's nothing he can do. He's
God
been
damn it.
beaten to a pulp.
So we were having this discussion before the show. If this was season 7,
You snitched on your guy on that documentary,
God.
by the way.
Here
You
we go.
snitched on your guy. The whole world saw you snitch.
You are a rat, Dave.
You're a fucking rat.
I snitched. I
you
snitched.
rat.
God.
They asked me 10 questions. Was Connor Stallion at the moon landing? Was that JFK assassination? Was he at Watergate? Oh, yeah, Connor Stallions was there. He told me so. I love how he is so in everybody's head. It's like Belichick. They're so scared they're looking over their shoulder. So I was saying that, and yeah, I think what Connor Stallion, I think he's an American hero. I think he's a Marine. I want Michigan to welcome him back. I was proud to be part of that national championship documentary that made him look, as I said the whole season, his biggest crime has just been great at his job. You have these idiots at Ohio State who don't know how 1 + 1 = 4. They don't know how to do anything, and they're jealous that we have guys who wake up. That guy was born to win national championships, and he helped us do it.
Ev, how are you feeling? We haven't checked in with you yet.
But listen, we're focused.
Nobody cares, Ev. Doesn't matter about
Losers
your
are focused
team
on
and your
last season.
billion-dollar roster. Nobody cares.
She asked the man a question, Dave.
He's already playing defense about this year. He's already being defensive about this year because he knows what's coming. It's revenge season for us. We listen. We're not running away from it. Michigan won the national title. They did it. We've accepted that. We've accepted that, and we're using that to propel us forward. Listen. Everyone, when you hit rock bottom, great things happen. You push forward from that. We hit rock bottom last year.
Revenge season was when Brian Hartline said, we're going to do our darkness, and what will come out in the darkness will come out in the light. That was after you lost the first year. We beat you by 50 the next year. It's been revenge season for the last decade. We kick your teeth in every single year, Big F. Well, who's the quarterback on the Texans? He's pretty good. CJ Stroud, right? He couldn't beat us, but you got this big galoot now it's going to beat us. I'm not worried about you, Ev. I pet you on your head. You're Wisconsin. You're Penn State. I'm worried about Georgia.
I mean, the problem is you won.
I know.
There's nothing you can say.
We'll have to deal with it this year, but then it'll be over, Brandon. It's going to be a long year.
They cheated,
it's never over, Ev.
They cheated, but they won.
Right.
No, but they
It's
won.
never
all
over,
good.
Ev. The last
No, it'll be over after
winner-take-all
this year.
game between Michigan and Ohio, we beat you. And you know what I keep saying? If you could have won that last game, then you and all your intellectually deficient idiots in Ohio could have been like, oh, they cheated. The last 3 years matter. Oh, they cheated. Let me say it again for the 100th time. You know who we beat after everyone knew about this single thing? Michigan State, Penn State, Ohio State, Alabama, and Washington. So you guys can sit there, oh, they cheat. Well, Walker can't say it, blood oath, but anybody else. And you know you're lying. We beat the piss out of everybody after. We're the national champs. Ev, the big game, and you know it, will never matter ever again like it did last year. Last year was the most important big game in the history of the big game because of the playoff format, the allegations, and we took you and we broke your nose and watched you bleed. And then we went on to win the national championship. We took Alabama and we put Nick Saban in retirement. We retired him. Nobody's done that. We said, hey, big bad SEC, this legendary coach, we're going to beat you so bad you're going to retire. And he did. And then we go and beat Washington. I'm worried about Georgia.
Brandon, you're just going to have to deal with it this year.
Who else is playing this week?
Well, that's what you want to talk about, the 2024 college football season?
Whatever we can talk about, I'd like to talk about.
We might as well. You know it's going to sneak in throughout the season until whatever happens at the end of the year, but we might as well just talk about football. Are you okay with that?
To answer your question, Dan, I think the blood oath is forever.
Forever?
What? I thought it was a season.
Yeah.
I thought it was just...
No.
You can never say that.
Music. Can you play my music one more time?
No, you can't play the music. You can't play the music.
You can never say Michigan cheated?
We're actually stopping and letting him play the music.
You can never say Michigan cheated?
No, I don't know.
No.
I can react to the Connor Stallions documentary. I can react to Dave Portnoy saying they cheated. He said that. I didn't say it.
Got it.
Can you...
You said you didn't watch the documentary.
I've seen the clips of you snitching on him. I've seen the clips of you being an idiot on that documentary,
You see the-
smirking the whole time.
The clips of you on it? You look great.
You were on it?
We were all on it, right?
College football show was on it.
I'm never gonna watch it. It's like the Blind Side to me. It's a new Blind Side.
I gotta watch it.
We were in studio...
There were a lot of clips.
Yeah, a lot of clips. Okay.
I gotta say, can I just say one thing? I mean, they cheated, but Jim Harbaugh didn't know, so I defend Jim Harbaugh, but I do not defend Michigan. Dave is he's got this victory now over you, over Ev, over Ohio State, and then yesterday, Dave, I didn't tell you this, but it was very funny. I went into the gambling cave, and Tate was watching the Guardians game because his dad got the parking spot, and I bet the Guardians.
Yep.
So we were watching it. And he was like, how was Pick'em? And I told him, I was like, listen, like Dave's got a nice line that he's using. He's figured out his path. It's going to be hard to beat it. I was like, he says everyone thinks Connor Stallions is everywhere, all this stuff. And like maybe 2 minutes later, Tate pulls up a screenshot from the Connor Stallions doc, and he's like, I think Bro Ohio was a plant. There's a Wolverine behind him. And I was like, dude. Like,
Yeah,
Dave's playing it up, but you're literally just falling for into it.
He sees him everywhere. He's walking across the street, and he's like, oh, my God, the Connor Stallions just came out of that 7-Eleven. He's everywhere. They're in their own head. And that documentary, for everything about it, The fact that guy, that Brandon Walker, had to dress up as Brohio like he was an Antifa protest, like he was, it just shows the state of Ohio.
It's him.
This guy's
Dave.
covering his entire identity, looking like the biggest fool who's ever come down the pike. And you got Ohio State, who I don't even acknowledge his existence. Okay, I'll give Fat Boy and Brandon and Buckeye Brandon the benefit. We've been going at it for years. This guy, I don't even know. He swat away, little boy. Go away, little boy. You haven't earned my respect. You don't talk to me. I'm a national champ. You're a gnat. You haven't earned that right. I don't even want you in the same room. It's like when the joke town clown comes up and performs in front of the king, and you just press the button on the floor that they fall down. That's Tate. Get this guy, the court jester. Get him away from me.
It's like when the joke town clown comes around.
He meant to say jester.
I know what he meant to say. He didn't fucking say it.
I thought he was referencing the movie The Town.
You gotta understand. This is one of those shows where his brain is moving fast, trying to get everything going out. Like, I'm fluent in Dave. I haven't needed subtitles at all yet. I knew exactly what he was
You
talking
knew where he was going. All right, I'm sure this will continue to come up, but let's move towards the 2024 college football season. And it is, of course, presented by High Noon, the weekend preview, a brand new pack this year. It's the End Zone Pack, which is limited edition fan faves of pear and cranberry, along with the black cherry and grapefruit. The High Noon End Zone Pack is a fall exclusive, which means it is here for a good time, not for a long time. Visit highnoonspirits.com before your next tailgate to find a pack near you. A great week 1 slate. We saw some action in week 0. Brandon, I know that you kind of anticipated the Florida State loss. A lot of people did moving forward. Let's go with number 8, Penn State at West Virginia. Penn State favored by 8, the total of 51.5. Brandon, I will start with you because you like Penn State, you like Drew Aller, but you're very high on West Virginia this year.
I'm very high on West Virginia. More so, I'm high on underdogs this week. They were 4-0 against the spread, against double-digit spreads last week. I think it continues this week. I love West Virginia in this spot to keep it close. Maybe Penn State wins by 3. West Virginia's offense is going to be very good, but the quarterback, the running back there, everything is back from a 9-win team. Defensively, they had a lot of changes, and they had a lot of transfers out. They had to bring in some guys, but I don't think Penn State's got the receivers to really take advantage of that. I like Penn State to win this game like 23-20 and West Virginia to cover.
Dan, last year we had Neil Brown all but fired going into the season. It was like he was completely on the hot seat. They end up having a great season. Garrett Green is back, like Brandon mentioned, the offense. Do you think they can continue that moving into this season?
I'm taking Penn State. Week 1, I go off vibes. Every bet is vibes. I know that you can look at depth charts, you can look at past production, but with the transfer portal and everything, teams change so much week to week. If this game was at night in Morgantown, I would take West Virginia. It's at noon. And I also think, in a vibe, speaking of just vibes, I think Penn State's going to have a reinvigorated season just in the fact that they are going to be in the playoff because the playoff expanded. They're not going to get better, but they're going to be like, hey, we accomplished our goals. We got to the playoff.
It's basically the playoff expansion is just for Penn State.
Well, right. The 12-team playoff is 1,000.
And Ohio.
All right.
Well, Ohio State has been in it without the expansion.
Well, I mean, the last 3 years that we'd be in that last game, they'd be in it every year, but it's a do-over for them.
Okay, Dave, what do you think about Drew Aller and Penn State?
I like West Virginia here. This would be the first, and they'll be the first of many. I don't want to keep harping on it. This is the first of many. Michigan has changed Brandon Walker's outlook on life.
God damn
last year,
every game? Every game?
Well, no, if you recall last year, it was Drew Aller this, Drew Aller that. I love Penn State, this, that. Michigan went in, didn't throw a forward pass, played football like it was the 1920s against Penn State, beat them to a drum, physically abused them, and now suddenly Brandon Walker is on West Virginia. So what Michigan did is they exposed Penn State to Brandon. I agree with him. I'm going to take West Virginia here. But credit Brandon's pick to Michigan.
Yes, Brandon.
No, this has nothing to do with Michigan. I have Penn State as the 5 seed in the playoff this year. I think they're going to be very good this year. I just think this game, this opener, is tough.
And you did say that you think that they'll play Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship.
I did. I have them playing Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship game.
He still is good. And so, Ev, we talked a lot about Drew Aller last year. Drew Aller was pretty good outside of the games he needed to be really good last year, which was Michigan, Ohio State, and Ole Miss. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I like West Virginia with the points. It's at-home rivalry game. I mean, Penn State's defense is going to be good. The running backs are very good. But I'm not the biggest believer in Drew Aller. I know it was against probably 2 of the best defenses in the country, but I'll take West Virginia in the points. Garrett Green, I think, is very underrated.
I think West Virginia looks really good. Garrett Green is good. I think there's so much hype around them. I'm going to kind of go off vibes, too. I think they're going to be fine. I like Penn State. I think they have a lot to prove this year. And without the divisions in the Big Ten, they do miss Michigan. I think that this is one of those seasons where James Franklin will finally get over that hump. Let's move into a rivalry game in the state of Florida. Number 19, Miami at Florida. Miami favored by 2.5. The total at 54. Dan, I'll start with you. Miami, Florida, and Florida State all this year. They had a ton of hype. Florida State lost in week 0, but Miami, with this completely rehauled roster, we know that Billy Napier at Florida is also kind of on the hot seat. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, vibes. I mean, Florida has no hype. Miami has all the hype. Miami, everyone is like Cam Ward, who I like very much. They look like a significantly better team than Florida. Florida is going to have a difficult year. Win 5, maybe 6 games? Maybe. So that's a maybe at 6?
Yeah.
So
They have the hardest schedule in the country.
right, they do. And this is just, I mean, they are in a program that is still trying to find themselves, still doesn't have a solution. Probably shouldn't have fired Dan Mullen.
No, they shouldn't have. And they definitely shouldn't have hired this guy to replace
Right, yeah. Sunbelt Billy.
That's
and
right.
yeah. So with all that said, I'm taking Florida.
Yep.
Brandon?
That makes a lot of sense. I like both teams this year. I think Florida's
Music.
actually going to win. No, not music. I'm doing my pick. I'm going to speak over it, all right? Because I like both teams this year. I like Miami in the playoff. I like Florida, but I think the over here. Florida's defense was terrible last year. Graham Mertz is actually pretty good. Cam Ward coming in over 54. Over 54 is the pick.
It
like
ended
it.
perfectly. It ended perfectly. Yeah, I mean, Cam Ward was one of the most coveted guys in the transfer portal. Miami not just got him, though. They loaded up at all positions across the board. Florida, they have a hard schedule. They have Graham Mertz, but Miami looks, on paper at least, this roster looks much better than it did last year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm torn in this game because I picked Miami to win the ACC. I'm buying in on this year, but this is just such a Florida spot. Like you said, Miami's all the hype. Everyone's saying how bad Florida's going to be, so down on them. They're at home. They're going to be motivated. I'll take Florida with the points. I'll take Florida 2.5.
Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm taking Florida to the swamp. I'm not sold on Miami, and I still don't really know the portal. Like, can you just rotate quarterbacks in and be good right off the bat? New program? I don't know. I'm going to take Florida to the swamp. So I guess it's a clean sweep outside the over.
I'm going to take Miami. I like Miami a lot. I like what Mario Cristobal has done and the fact that he's gotten every position better this year, and I think Cam Ward is really good. I'm just not sold on Florida. I'm not sold on Billy Napier, and I know Graham Mertz played fine last year, but I'm not sold on him at all. So I will take Miami, so it's not a clean sweep. Let's go to the game I'm very excited to talk about. Number 7, Notre Dame at number 20, Texas A&M. Night game at Kyle Field. A&M favored by 3, the total at 46. Dave, I will start with you. Notre Dame at 7. A lot of people are thinking that's maybe a little bit too high. A&M at 20. People are thinking that's too high. What do you take for Mike Elko's first season at A&M?
Night game this is at Kyle Field.
Yeah.
Should be a tough place to play. You know, A&M had all that hype with all the players that they got paying through NIL. I assume a lot of them are still there. I'm going to take
Some left.
A&M at home. What's that?
Some left, but there's still a lot there.
Yeah, so it should be a talented roster. So I'm going to take A&M here at home.
Okay, and Dan, a lot of conversation about Mike Elko and Riley Leonard, who's now at quarterback at Notre Dame, playing together at Duke, obviously facing your former head coach.
Yeah.
On the road, week 1 is going to lean in, and you would think Mike Elko's favor.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think it does lean into his favor. Mike Elko's a good coach. Maybe not the splashy hire that Texas A&M always tries to go for, but he's just a good coach. If you win at Duke, I think you're a good coach, and I think you can coach anywhere. I'm going to take Texas A&M as well. I think it's going to be just a really tough place to play. He knows Riley Leonard. Notre Dame is on their 3rd left tackle. So I think it's going to be a very close game because it's 2 good defenses. But I'll take Texas A&M here.
Brandon?
Yeah, I like 2 plays here. I like A&M at home. No, not music. I like A&M at home. I like A&M -3, and I like the under. Riley Leonard is a good advantage for going into a night game at Kyle Field, but he's playing his former coach who knows everything about him. I think Connor Wigman is really good. I like A&M -3 and the under. A&M -3 and the under.
Yeah, and the one thing I'm worried about with Riley Leonard, are we sure he's? Well, I guess he's not. He's not a fantastic passer.
No, he's not.
He's a great athlete.
Right,
But he can make big plays.
Also,
but hey, it's 3rd and 12 and Kyle Field in the 4th quarter. You got to make this throw. I don't know.
And if there's anybody that knows that he can't do that, it's Mike Elko. He also was hurt last year. He was hurt in the spring. A&M has a couple injuries at running back, but A&M, I mean, and I know that he's your guy, Dan, but like A&M's problem was Jimbo Fisher not getting all that talent together. They have the talent there. I think Mike Elko can do it.
He's not my guy, by the way.
You like
He
him.
came,
I
he came on the
I didn't know he was one of your guys.
No, I like him.
He's your guy?
Guy.
I didn't know that.
No, he's not my guy.
Every time I talked bad about
Jimbo's your guy?
Jimbo,
No, Jimbo's not my guy. I
Okay,
had him
fine,
on the
my
show.
bad.
I liked him.
My
Like
bad.
we had Marcus Freeman on the show. I like him. Not my guy.
Okay,
You gotta.
fair. There's levels to it.
There's only a few.
I think
there's only
the
a few
quarterback
guys.
is very good. The Notre
Connor
Dame
Wegman?
quarterback,
Oh, Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard.
yeah, no, I disagree with you guys being like he can't throw 12 yards. I think he's very good.
I think he's good. I like what A&M has better. Obviously, Mike Elko has been at A&M before, so he knows how to coach this team, knows the culture, knows the defense. I'm obviously going to take A&M. I think
Nobody knows the culture. It's
Hey.
impossible to know that culture.
That's
you have
not
to be a
true. People that
psychopath
have-
to understand the
people that
culture.
have been there. Well, then he's a psychopath. He's our psychopath. He's been there. He coached there. So I'm a psychopath. I understand it. He gets it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
you're all,
but
you're
it's
all
like-
nuts.
It's like Scientology. Like you know the culture, but like, do you want to know the culture?
Yes.
If you're
Yes.
in it,
Yeah.
you want to know it,
Right.
nobody else.
Like I
needs
wish.
to.
If you're
I
in
wish-
it, you love it.
Right. No, but it's like Scientology. They get
I
you,
don't-
and then they like keep you. So it's like I wish I had just never learned about it.
See, here's the thing. You guys always think saying that A&M is a cult is a bad thing. If you're in a cult, it's a good thing because you love your team that much.
Jonestown.
Yeah, usually people that are in a cult
Well,
are happy.
Yeah, Heaven's Gate.
I'm happy until they lose. Well, okay, we're not talking about violent cults. We're not a violent
Branch
cult.
Davidians in Waco. That went well.
Yeah, I
not
don't
a
think
violent
cult
cult.
is a good cult's not a
No.
good connotation.
No.
It can be.
No.
As long as there's no violence.
No.
We don't have violence.
No.
Cults don't
What
result in
a
violence.
cool cult.
Everyone dies in the cult.
By the way, Barstool is kind of a cult. With the cult leader in the
really.
crown next to us.
You are wearing a crown.
I mean,
Yeah, but what does that have to do? Like, there's not
You said
people like
cult is-
bowing. I had to get Brandon Walker to obey and kneel before the crown. I had to.
No, that hasn't happened.
Beat him. Yes, yes, it has.
He did sign a blood oath.
Yes, it has.
I didn't sign a blood oath.
And-
That's a
I
cult.
made a wager. I made a wager with a colleague, and we shook hands as gentlemen. And so I am honoring that wager because I'm a man. I'm a man of principle, and I will honor that wager. But
So, like, Brandon's not following the leader by will. He's doing it because he's had his kneecaps slashed
dictatorship.
and a knife at his throat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
It's a dictatorship, not a cult.
dictatorships are, well,
No, there's a difference.
Dave has a cult following. You have a cult following. Barstool has a cult following. That's a good thing. A&M is a good cult. I'm taking A&M. Ev, I know you're high on A&M this year as well.
Yeah, I like A&M. Also, like you said, Notre Dame starting all underclassmen in the offensive line. I do like Riley Leonard, but going against a defensive-minded coach who knows all his strength, all his weaknesses, I like A&M at home.
so everybody picked A&M.
Yep.
I should be a little bit concerned about that, but I'm not. A&M's going to be really good this year. And if I win the national championship, I'm going to wear a crown too.
Well, you're not going to win the national.
But I'm going to say it. I'm just going to say it. I didn't
here.
say that I was going to. I said if I do, just like if
Okay.
you did.
If
you
I
would
win the
too.
national title, I'm also wearing the crown.
Fine. Number 23,
If
US.
Brandon Walker wins the national title this year, I will give him $50 million.
I'll match.
Yeah. Give me a unicorn
match.
too. Yeah, sure.
Why, Brandon?
It's a
Brandon,
first year of a rebuild.
look at me.
Our coach
Look,
died. Our
Brandon,
coach
look at-
died.
There it
Accept
is.
that, though. You got $100 million.
Our coach died.
Say yes.
Brandon.
Yes, I accept.
Thank you.
Brandon, look at me. I'm a national champion. You would have said that couldn't happen.
Yeah, but you had to do things that I would never do. I would never do the things that you do.
You said you would kill your mother.
What?
No. I never said I would kill my mother for a national
You said
title.
someone else
I
would.
said if my mother had to die for me to get a national title, I would be fine with that. I didn't say I'd kill her.
And $100 million now. So there you go.
Get her a nice headstone.
Let's move on to the
You're
Sunday
never
night.
going to win one. You're never going to win. You're never going to feel
I
what
just
I
won.
felt.
I just won one 2 years ago in baseball. Everybody remembers it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sunday night, standalone.
How does
game.
that feel?
Oh my God.
That you will go through your entire life and never feel the jubilation that I felt. You'll never have that joy.
I'll speak for you because I'm the same. It doesn't feel good.
I don't think.
I have
don't think
many
I'm
other
gonna-
avenues that bring me joy in life.
Oh boy.
Many other avenues that bring
Boat,
me joy in
boat
life.
can't be sunk. Titanic.
No, can't do it.
But wouldn't it be all washed away for a national title for you? Wouldn't you give it all away?
That's why
I would give everything away.
I'm with you. I'm defending you.
Listen,
I'm defending you. Why are
I'm
we
defending
doing
you
this?
too.
Why are we doing this?
I want a national title just as bad as you. I don't have one either.
I'm with you, Brandon.
Well, 1939, but okay.
I'm with you.
I want one too. Number 23, USC at number 13, LSU. The Sunday night game, LSU right now favored by 4. The total at 64. Dave, I will start with you. USC, obviously, in the Big Ten this year, they lose. They lose pretty much. Obviously, Caleb Williams, but they lose a lot. Their defense is supposed to be a little bit better. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, so I think USC will always be explosive. Lincoln Riley out there. I'm sure they reloaded their portal people. So I think they're going to be good. Are they going to win games in the Big Ten and when it's cold out? No, but it's not going to be cold here. Games in Vegas. I'll take the points. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a very close game. I'll take USC in the points and the over 64. I think it'll be shootout.
Okay, Dan, here's a question. Is Caleb Williams your guy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Well, I was just making sure. I can't throw that around. So
Caleb Williams is going to be my guy for the rest of my life, but for the next 20 years, it's going to be incredible.
You should paint your nails alongside with it.
As soon as the season starts, I'm getting a purse. It's very
Pink
fast.
phone case. It is. So what do you think USC is going to look like? Miller Moss has a lot of hype, obviously, but what do you think that they're going to be able to look like?
Miller Moss, like Lincoln Riley, that's what he does is coach quarterbacks. I think their defense is going to be a lot better. Alex Grinch was a really, really bad defensive coordinator. I know he's a safeties coach at Wisconsin. I don't think you can fuck that up so bad, which I'll knock on wood because he probably can. But Danton Lynn, the guy from UCLA who they got, it was all about sound tackling. They missed the most amount of tackles in college football last year. They didn't want to play defense. And more than anything, again, going off vibes, I think this game opened LSU -6, and it's like 85% of the money's on LSU, and now it's to 4. Yeah. So I'll just take USC.
Okay, Brandon, LSU obviously losing a Heisman Trophy quarterback. They have Garrett Nussmeier as their quarterback now. What do you think with Brian Kelly's squad?
First of all, track meet. I don't know who's stopping who this game. Neither defense is going to be very good. Nussmeier will be fine, but he doesn't have 2 first-round receivers they had last year. LSU's offensive line is great, but their defense was the worst in the country last year. I don't think the wrong team's favorite. I think USC is winning the football game. It's in Vegas. It's closer to them. It's a fast track. It's everything you don't want to have happen when you play USC. And LSU, they're 0. I think they're 0-2. Brian Kelly in these openers, these Sunday night standalone openers, both against Florida State. I like USC to win it, and I like the over 64. I like it kind of to fly past 64, actually.
Yeah, crazy shit always happens in these Sunday night standalone games. I'm going to take USC as well. Ev, who do you have winning this game?
Yeah, I guess a clean sweep. I like USC as well.
Yikes.
I just think they did more to improve the defense.
Yeah, 2 back-to-back. That's not.
The public's all over LSU.
Yeah, LSU has a lot of hype. I don't know how. Obviously they're always going to have some talent, but their defense was so bad, and you lose a Heisman Trophy quarterback. To be able to think they're going to bounce back like that is crazy. Guess we'll see. Let's go to the biggest game of the week. Number 14, Clemson at number 1, Georgia. It's in Atlanta. Georgia favored by 13.5. The total at 48.5. Brandon.
I love Clemson.
I know you do. That's why I was going to set you up here. Obviously, Georgia, the number 1 team in the country. I think we can all agree they look like the best team in the country. But you're very high on Clemson to have not even a rebound because they only.
No, it is a rebound.
But in Clemson terms, yes. But in reality, they've still been pretty damn good.
I think it's a rejuvenation year for Clemson. I think it's a year that Dabo proves his anti-transfer portal approach could work. He's got a sophomore class that's loaded. They took a lot of lumps as freshmen. The quarterback, Cade Klubnik, took some lumps last year. I think he's better. Receivers are better. Defensive line's better. Maffa's a better running back than Shipley. They're not going to win this game. But this is going to be a very close game. I think they lose this game like 17-14, maybe 17-10, something like that. And I got Clemson in the playoff later this year and winning the ACC. Love Clemson. Love them to keep it close. Love them to make it ugly.
Dave, it's the noon game. Obviously, everybody will have eyes on it. Are you buying that Georgia is just that much better than Clemson, or are you taking Clemson this year?
Listen, Georgia, they're a great program. And these are 2 programs. You get the Michigans, the Clemsons, the Georgias, the Alabamas who have dominated college football. So it's 2 premier programs. I don't know that Clemson's all the way back quite yet. It's at Georgia. I don't love the Clemson quarterback, Noose Machel or whatever his name is. So I'm going to take Georgia here. I don't love it, Klubnik. I don't love the game, but I'm going to take Georgia.
Ev?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Georgia, too. I just think, listen, they got beat in the SEC title game last year. I think this is a fuck you game for them. They've done great in these spots. They beat the shit out of Oregon. Was it last year before? Yeah, I like Georgia lay the points. I just don't like Klubnik either. I just don't think he's good.
Dan?
No, I don't either.
Brandon Walker.
Yes.
The last time Georgia lost a football game to someone not named Nick Saban.
So it would be 20. They lose somebody in 2020?
Yes. It's been 4 years.
It's been 4 years.
The last time Georgia lost a non-conference game,
I don't know. Who was?
2017.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. Pretty much the only team they couldn't beat was Nick Saban and Alabama.
Yep.
I'm going to take Georgia in this game.
Yeah, I think Clemson's going to be good this year. I think they're going to be better than they were, and I do think Cade Klubnik is better than what he appeared to be last year. However, Georgia's just by far the best team in the country. Carson Beck is going to be absolutely phenomenal. They've got talent on both sides of the ball. If they were in the playoff last year, they would have been dangerous.
No, they wouldn't have been dangerous. They would have won the national title. The luckiest thing that ever happened to Michigan is when Georgia got beat by Alabama. Georgia sleptwalked. They went in. They were scared of Nick Saban, and they got rid of the actual national team. Georgia was the best team in the country last year. It wasn't even close.
One of the most confusing game plans of all time.
It was
just
very
scared,
bizarre.
scared to death.
Yeah.
Scared to death.
Scared of Nick. I do
Well,
think,
and also force-feeding it to an injured Brock Bowers.
Yeah, didn't make sense.
I think that Georgia will cover this game, but I don't think that that's going to be an indictment on Clemson being bad either. I think Clemson will be fine in the ACC. I think Georgia is just that much better. All right, a new sponsor for Trivia with Brandon Walker this year. It is sponsored by Powerade, and the college football landscape has changed a ton. NIL deals, social media, and the transfer portal. There has never been more distractions for an athlete, but Powerade knows what's most important, and that's commitment to the game. With 50% more electrolytes than Gatorade Thirst Quencher, hydrate your grind with Powerade. Brandon, what flavor do you have over there?
I have the Mountain Berry Blast. Of course, they got great flavors like strawberry lemonade. They got orange, lemon, lime. They got a bunch of great flavors, grapefruit punch, but this is the Mountain Berry Blast that I'm drinking right now.
And it looks delicious. You can grab your pack today on Amazon or at a store near you.
Oh, it is
See the product label for additional details. It takes more. Yeah, get you a sip. I have a question for your trivia this year. Are you going to purposely try to stump Dan and Ev? And I mean, if Dave
No,
and I play, but
I'm simply going to ask trivia questions that I would like my friends to answer.
okay.
And I'm ready for my question. Are you ready?
Well, it's more talking to the two that sit on either side of you because I'm bad at trivia and I don't know if Dave's playing. Are you
Gentlemen and lady, who is the last preseason #1 team to finish unranked? Who's the last Associated Press #1 preseason team to finish unranked? Now, I know Michigan's not #1 in the preseason this year, but I do anticipate them finishing unranked this year without certain advantages they may have had before.
Your word means nothing.
What are you talking about? This is my segment. I'm talking my predictions for
Your
the year.
word means nothing.
The question was the last preseason #1 finish unranked. Who is it?
And by the way, while we're filming this, let's have a little, and I know it's a different sport, but you again went on a program, made a fool out of yourself, talking about Caitlin Clark and the India Fever, which clearly you
Here
don't
he
watch
goes,
any of the
begging
games.
Caitlin Clark for attention again. Please pay attention
Thank
to
you.
Caitlin Clark. Why is the music playing for this? This is my segment. All right, guys, answers up. Who is the last preseason?
I only remember this because I actually bought into the hype, and I'm pretty sure if I look it up, I lost a lot of money in Stanford, or betting the team against Stanford.
All right, 2012, it was USC.
Unfinished business, Matt Barkley.
You didn't get it?
I didn't have it. No, I didn't have
Dave,
it.
I know you didn't
I
get it.
thought
You
Matt
didn't
Barkley
try.
was so goddamn good.
Yeah,
I really bought into Matt Barkley.
it was 2012 USC #1 finish unranked.
that's a true gambler's brain, by the way. He remembers it because of that bad
I
beat.
just was like, this guy is so good. He's the next USC, big time quarterback. And if we looked it up, I'm pretty sure they lost to Stanford that year.
Yeah.
And I bet USC against Stanford. Stanford is.
Was that the Harbaugh? Is that Harbaugh that year?
it would have been, right?
No, Harbaugh was in the NFL then.
Okay.
Barkley lost so much money going back that year.
Yeah, big time.
Also a new segment this year. It's exciting little, we're going to get to be a team for a second, Brandon. So you and Dave do have to work together.
Everybody get together.
Everybody get together, even just for this segment. It's the DraftKings Dark Horse Host Parlay. So what we're going to do is everybody sitting at the desk is going to give a leg of a parlay. It'll be available on DraftKings. And then whoever loses or loses the worst of their leg of the parlay, Ev will slide in the next week. So we all are working together. Okay?
It's us for
I
at least
just
1 week.
realized that I obviously don't know the trivia before, and that now I'm going to look like an idiot.
Why?
Because I think my pick is Stanford, and I just was like, I always lose with Stanford.
Okay.
Oh, well, it's okay.
That
Hey,
didn't
it's
work
week
out
one.
well.
It's
You think it's breaking that gambling Dan's an idiot sometimes? I mean, this is
Yeah, but that didn't work out well. Like
But-
it was,
but-
I literally just was like, I always lose with Stanford. Oh wait, I'm taking Stanford plus 9.5.
But by the way, this will be a standalone segment too. So maybe if somebody didn't watch the whole show, they wouldn't even know.
We know how you bet. We know you don't learn from things.
So whether you're cheering on your
But I'm
alma
betting on
mater
Stanford this time, not against them.
or just love the thrill of college football, you're going to want to listen to this. We have partnered up with DraftKings, and this offer is perfect for game day. Right now, new customers will bet $5 and get instantly $200 in bonus bets. That's something we can all celebrate. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code CFB. The crown is yours. So Dan, you're going with.
Stanford against US or TCU plus 9.5.
We're going to change the Stanford vibes this year. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, again, I'm betting on Stanford, so it's a little different because Stanford was always the team like late in the season. I'd be like, Oregon's offense so good, Stanford can't stop that, and then they would just bully them.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
So that's Dan's leg. Dave, what is your leg for the dark horse parlay?
Well, I don't know if I'm going to take Brandon's here, but I had West Virginia written down. I don't know if that's, hopefully he's not going that way.
I'm not. That's a good one.
I would hope they
Okay,
would let us
West
know
Virginia.
if two legs were the same. Okay, so Dave is taking West Virginia, Spider. Brandon?
Shout out our producers, by the way. They do a great job.
Yes.
Booze and Jake Bass. Dave, they were like telling me what everyone's pick was, and they had you as West Virginia money line, and I was like, I don't think so. But
No,
you
it's
want it?
Yeah.
plus.
No, it's plus.
That would be nuts in a dark horse parlay
I
like
know,
this.
I know. I think you just texted him West Virginia.
And I did.
Yeah, right. Because it's
Spider,
the
so I had
underdog. You
writing.
take the underdog. It's like yesterday when I took Indiana money. I did take the Fever money line yesterday. Brandon Walker said it was a stupid pick. I can cash out $100,000 to win 10 million. They're already offering me 83 to cash out. He thinks it's child's play.
Brandon, do you only not like Caitlin Clark because of Dave?
I don't not like Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's fine. I think Dave's little fake. Caitlin, please show me attention.
Well, let me ask you this. What makes you think, what part of it makes you fake? I flew to watch her play in Iowa versus LSU, Albany. Like, this isn't a new thing. This is 3 years now.
So is it my turn for the parlay?
Yes, it is.
So this is a pick I haven't talked about yet, but I love underdogs across the board this week. I love this one the most. It's Vanderbilt plus 13.5 at home against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has hype out of nowhere. They have a very good quarterback, Kyron Drones. They bring back 18 of 22 starters, but they come back from a team that went 6-6, and their wins down the stretch that got them hype were Syracuse, BC, Wake, and somebody else really bad. They didn't beat anybody. They went 6-6. They got hype. Now they're opening in Nashville against Vanderbilt, 13.5. If they were really that good, it would be way bigger than 13.5. I love Vanderbilt plus 13.5 right here against Virginia Tech.
I don't know how many times I've seen you love Vanderbilt, but you have been high on this game for a while
I
now.
found it. Yeah, I circled it Sunday night, and I just wanted to watch it, and it stays there, and it looks so big and beautiful to me. I love it.
Okay, so I'm going to take a team that I have some friends who are swearing they're going to be good this year. North Texas plus 5.5. South Alabama has Major Applewhite as their head coach for the first time. I'm sure he'll eventually be fine. They didn't look great last year. It's a rebuild. North Texas does have Chandler Morris, who wasn't great at teaching.
It sounds like a Rico pick. What do you mean you got friends on North Texas?
I have friends who are North Texas fans, so I was talking to them about, I didn't say on, that went to North Texas. So I was looking at this game because they are North Texas fans. I was talking to them this week. They like Chandler Morris at TCU. He was a TCU quarterback, wasn't great.
The fans of the team like the team?
No, they like my pick.
Oh.
But they like the team. That's
like
why
the
they like.
team.
Well, they like the team too.
Yeah.
They like the team too.
Well, whatever.
I don't think that
It's
Major
the chicken or
Applewhite-
the egg. It's the
Oh, that
chicken or
was
the
like,
egg. Like you.
Don't say it's a Rico
That was
pick.
like
If it loses, call it a Rico pick.
That is 100% a Rico's pick.
Mincy
I
last
didn't
week.
say they told me to
Mincy
take
last
it.
week came up to PFT and was like, "Hey, I was talking to Jaden Daniels, quarterback coach. He thinks he's the guy." And I was like, "Oh, did you ask his
Yeah.
mom too?" I do think Jaden Daniels is the guy, but that's a little too close.
Okay, if it
Correct.
loses, you can call it a Rico pick.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
So we have Dave with West Virginia plus 8. We have Dan with Stanford plus 9.5. Brandon Vandy plus 13.5. Me, North Texas plus 5.5. The odds are plus 1251 on our parlay.
God
So.
damn, it's a big win. You almost have no choice but to put something on it at those odds.
Yeah, because if it hits and you don't bet it, you're gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it hits, then the four of us will run this back next week. If somebody loses or whoever loses the worst, Ev will slide in. So go to DraftKings right now and bet our parlay. Let's move on to Rowback Dog of the Week. As always, we are all dressed in our Rowback, a new season. Ladies out there or guys who want to buy their women's stuff, great girls line as well. So go get your Rowback. College football is back, which means, as always, we will be outfitted by them. Best way to describe Rowback is the best fit, the best feel Rowback. Use code football on rowback.com for a generous 20% off your first purchase through the end of this week. That's RHOBACK.com, 20% off all polos, quarter zips, shorts, and hoodies with code football. Make sure to check them out because if you're a college football fan, you wear Rowback. So Dave, I assume you're going to have a whole speech here. Do you want to go first or last for this?
It's not. No, I'll go first. It's not the craziest speech of all time, and I changed it up. I actually, after I watched the Connor Stallions documentary, and Connor Stallions is my dog of the week. I, in all of Michigan, owe this man a debt of gratitude. First of all, second of all, we got to welcome him back. He, and I say this dead seriously. He has been absolutely railroaded and screwed by Brandon Walker, Brohio, Ryan Day, Fat Ev, and all the jealousy and hypocrisy in the world of sports. The jealousy that Michigan was so good that people can't just accept we're beating the snot out of you. Even at the end of that documentary, I think it's Dan Wetzel. He's like, oh, by the way, like every team's doing the same exact thing. Like we asked for the records and every team's like advanced scout was buying tickets and going to other games. He said that, all of them. For this guy to be banned for 3 years or whatever, just because he's smarter, better, and grew up with the love of Michigan, watch the documentary. Every single school would die to have a Connor Stallions. This guy was born to make Michigan great. The manifesto, all of it. His only crime was being great at his job. He's a Marine, like he code breaks. So I say it seriously. It's a shame what happened to him. He should be welcomed back to college football with open arms. He's a part of Michigan forever. He's a legend forever. And our country, our nation, our schools owe him a debt of gratitude. So he is my dog of the week, Connor Stallions. National champion, Connor Stallions.
Brandon, do you have anything to say or you want to keep it moving?
That was his pick. He has a right to say his pick. It was all grade A bullshit from the bullshittiest.
What part was?
Bullshitted. The entire fucking
What part?
thing. And by the way, it wasn't me that said anything about Stallions or Big Ev. You're the one that went on the documentary and ratted on the motherfucker. You're the one that went out there and said, oh yeah, the thing he's denying, he did it. So you did that. I didn't do it.
Everything. Watergate, JFK, landing on the moon. And by the way, you were in it, Brohio. You just were too scared to show your face.
That for
We need a music count for this show.
it's a bad counter, but that clearly wasn't me. It was too skinny and in shape. That wasn't me.
You were in the documentary, though, as
I was in,
yourself.
but I wasn't Brohio.
Dan,
Do you
dog
know?
of the week. Oh, yeah.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say real quick that Brandon will never, for somebody whose entire life revolves around college football, to be so thoroughly defeated on a level he was, a Hollywood script writer couldn't write that level of defeat, domination, and just everything. Everything that could have possibly went my way, and everything that could have gone against him, from him hiding in the trees, running away from me, to him making the blood oath, everything. It is literally, even it's like, how did everything go so perfectly for me and so perfectly horrendous for him and Fat Ev? I don't know.
I mean, Ev did tell me that he kind of hopes you're off of Ohio State this year ever since you switched.
I didn't switch.
I said it in the rundown after
Yeah.
the national title.
He did.
Okay, I got a dog. I think I did. I think I double dipped with Stanford, but I got a new dog. Okay, and what I've been watching in the last hour has hurt me very much. Every dog has their day. Brandon, you're my dog of the week.
Oh.
You're going to have the best college football season you've ever had. You know college football.
Thank you.
You're as low as you could possibly be. He's just kicking you.
Yeah.
He's dragging you through the mud. Animal cruelty is probably going to, when they watch this video, they're going to be like, you got to stop doing what you're doing to Brandon.
Yeah.
This is old time. This is Game of Thrones when one guy is dragging a defeated enemy through the mud and all the townsfolk are cheering and saying, this is what happens when you cross me. And I'm just dragging Brandon on a leash on a rope through the mud.
You're down, but you're not out.
Fair enough. Casey, I need it right now. Give me the.
Brandon,
ask me what my
who is your
pick
dog of the week?
First of all, my dog of the week is Clemson plus 13.5. I love Clemson this week. Secondly, how fucking dare you? How dare you say that I need to get off your team? If you guys hadn't been pussies and beat them the last 3 years, we wouldn't be going through this shit. How dare you throw me under the bus? I've been right there with you taking this shit. How dare you, sir?
Because you've been the bad mojo.
I haven't been.
No.
We've been doing the show 6 years.
No.
The first 3, he was against Ohio State every one. They won every time big.
They didn't win anything. They didn't win anything.
They beat Michigan.
They didn't win anything.
They beat
True.
Michigan.
No, they
the
didn't win
second
anything.
you
They didn't
jumped
win
off
anything.
and switched to Ohio State, now all of a sudden.
I didn't switch to Ohio State. I started calling out his bullshit.
There's one guy who's the bad mojo, and his name is Ryan Day.
Correct.
That's the bad
beat
mojo.
Michigan.
That's the bad mojo. He's
beat
got a
Michigan.
losing
I
record.
didn't stop him from beating
Not?
Michigan.
It was when Brandon
Music.
switched.
I never switched. I am simply fighting against this idiot. I was never fighting with you.
He's taken a lot of the heat that you would have also taken, like the
No,
double
he's-
heat.
no, listen, he's
been there for you.
He's
You
been a
can't
shield.
do that to him.
No, he said it on the rundown right after that it
How
was
dare you.
on Michigan and that Ohio State Heat, but he did also tell me in this conversation that you have taken a lot of heat off of him that he would have gotten. So I'm
That's
pretty-
true. No, that's definitely true. But I
Stop
can
the
take the
music.
heat. Like the heat, I'm fine with. I can handle being called fat boy. That's fine with me. I don't have a problem with that. I can handle that.
All right.
So that's your dog of the week is Ev?
No, it's Clemson. I
Just wanted
think
to
they're
yell?
being disrespected by everybody. I think they're going to bounce back real big.
But are you on Ohio State to beat Michigan this year?
Huh?
Are you-
Ohio State
Well-
beat the shit out of Michigan this year.
Okay. I just
Yeah, you said that the last 3 years. I mean, you said the last 3 years.
This is the year. Every
So
dog has
Dan,
their day.
Dan,
Every
whenever
dog
you
has
say it's
their
his best year, does that mean that Mississippi State's going to have a
No,
good year?
no.
Oh,
They're
just
talking about on
gambling.
this show. He's going to be right a lot.
That'd be awesome.
Yes.
Well, Mississippi State is to blame for part of that because they're so anemic. He doesn't have a real
this.
team to root
No,
for.
Our coach
So
said it.
then he
Oh,
jumps
He's right about
and
that.
interjects.
He's right about that.
were
And
9-4.
interjects himself into Ohio State and tries to make himself Buckeye Brandon. If he had a
were 9
team that he could concentrate on, he wouldn't need Ohio to vindicate his existence.
Gotcha.
And all
Guys,
that's done is
desecrate the
chop
memory
him
of
at
Mike
the
Leach.
legs.
Just keep telling yourself every dog has their day.
We were 9-4. Mike Leach, everything was fine. Everything was going up. Mike Leach died, and then everything fell apart.
But he
That's
is
it.
right. But he is right.
He's
there.
not right.
No, he's right.
If one of
He's
our
right.
teams
Every dog has
was
his
really
day.
good,
No,
it would
he's
be.
right.
Every dog has his day.
But every dog has their day.
And this is your day. This is your year. All right, Ev, who's your dog?
My dog's Hawaii. Because not only do I think they can cover this game, I think they have a chance to win this game outright. I think UCLA is going to stink. Their defense is awful. Foster, I think, is in over his head. Hawaii hasn't traveled. They're at home. Now UCLA's got to go over there. They're not playing at 50-mile-an-hour winds this week. Give me Hawaii and the points. Maybe a little sprinkle.
I love Hawaii this year. They're one of my sleeper teams.
Ev is a big Hawaii guy. Every Saturday,
week.
Sunday morning at 2 a.m., Ev is sweating out Hawaii.
Absolutely.
This is
Tommy
my dog.
Chang.
My
I think I might have said Tommy on Pick'em. My bad, Dave.
Threw me off. That's okay.
All right.
I'm a national champ.
By the way, if A&M ever wins a national championship, that's all I'm going to say too. This is obviously old news because it happened over the summer, but Reggie Bush got his Heisman back, and I think it was yesterday or the day before they put up his portrait back in the Heisman house and they showed him. I think it was one of the best decisions that was ever going to be made. It's years and years too late. Brandon, I know that you didn't think necessarily that Reggie should have won the Heisman that year, but you were totally on board with him getting the
Yeah,
Heisman back.
no, he did win it, and he should get it back. He should have never had it taken away. He did win it. So, and it's less, I think he shouldn't have won it, and more that was a year with 2 Heismans. Like Vince Young also should have won a Heisman.
Yeah, great decision by them to have him back and to see him in the mix. So Reggie Bush is the dog of the week. Let's move on to Proper Picks presented by Proper number 12. Dan, I will toss it over to you, and we have some exciting news from Proper 12 this year.
Yes, Proper 12, the only official whiskey of the Barstool College football show, and it's just damn good tailgating whiskey. It's tailgating season. It's about to be fall. There's nothing better than whiskey. We've got the original rich and smooth Proper 12 Irish whiskey or the crisp and fresh Proper apple, whichever whiskey you choose.
Which one are you
Make
having?
it
You having
proper.
apple?
I believe this is the apple. So it is 9 in the morning, but I don't care because Proper 12 is so delicious. That was delicious. Proper number 12. Pour the roar. And guess what? This season's winner of the Proper Picks segment will win $15K to the charity of your choosing, thanks to Proper number 12. They give back, so they're helping us give back. So shout out Proper 12, delicious whiskey, and they're also giving $15K that we will then give to a charity, whoever wins the Proper 12 picks of the week. So thank you to Proper 12, my pick. And my charity is Pause Chicago, and I'm doing USC +4. Dave.
You like? Oh, I didn't know if, you were gonna, if they were going to react.
There's quite a few picks on this show. It's like, no, I like that pick. We've given a lot of picks. I don't know why I went with this pick necessarily. It's almost I want to go back with Ev's pick. You know what? I am going to go with Ev's pick. I'm going to switch it. I had Florida. I'm switching on this. I'm going with Hawaii. I am playing my charity. Tunnel to Towers. Great charity. Supports first responders, military, lost family members, and helps them pay off their mortgages. You can donate to them $11 a month. It's great charity, great cause. So Tunnel to Towers is who I'm going to be playing for.
And taking Hawaii. Okay, Brandon, your charity and your pick?
My charity it's also, I believe it's Big F's charity as well, but it's St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Children's Hospital does the most important work that we have in this country. And my pick is LSU USC over 64.5. I just think track meet, nobody's stopping anybody.
Yeah, both of their defenses are horrible. And Ev, like you mentioned, St. Jude's, who's your pick?
Yep, St. Jude's, of course, great cause. I'm taking Georgia State +21. I think this is the ultimate come down spot, or 20.5, ultimate come down spot for Georgia Tech. They're in double, have to come back. In-state team at home. You had the high of a lifetime. You just go beat Florida State. Standalone game. Now you got to come home, play Georgia State. Give me Georgia State in the points.
And my foundation is the V Foundation, specifically the Dick Vitale Fund for Pediatric Cancer. And I don't know if I'm just totally buying into the Dylan Raiola hype and the Matt Rule hype, but I love Nebraska -27.5 versus UTEP. UTEP has a new head coach, and I think Nebraska is going to come out just absolutely foot on the gas, going to want to prove a point. And I'm totally buying into the freshman hype. I know that's a lot of points for a freshman quarterback, but I'm going to take Nebraska -27.5. By the way, if this would Dave killed us all last year in the standings.
Yeah.
So
destroyed.
killed us.
Destroyed.
So
12-3. Walker was 7-9. Betting against Michigan every day. He'll do that to you.
I don't think I ever bet against Michigan on the show.
You definitely bet against.
Yeah, I find that very hard to believe.
Huh?
You didn't take Ohio State against Michigan?
I don't really remember that.
he did in the national title game. He did take the under.
I
He
took
didn't.
the under,
He didn't take.
because they didn't have a quarterback, Michigan.
Yeah.
Who'd you take in Alabama, Michigan?
I don't recall that. We didn't do a show that day.
You took.
You don't
We didn't
recall?
do a show.
You took Alabama.
I don't remember.
It's okay. It's a new year. It's like Dan said.
Every dog has his
Don't
day.
recall.
Who'd you take in Penn State,
don't
Michigan?
recall-
Who'd you take in Penn State, Michigan last year?
I don't recall.
He doesn't recall, Dave.
How am I supposed to recall certain games?
It's a new.
I think the Penn State game was when you were hiding in the bush.
No, it was the TCU. Oh, he might
yeah,
have been Penn State.
'cause we were at
We were at
TCU.
TCU, yeah.
Yeah.
He was
The
hiding
Bush
in the
was
bush,
at TCU.
eating his barbecue.
I was eating.
I know, it's fine. Okay, so we have been doing our communal top 10s for the last couple of years, and now it has a new sponsor, the Uber One Top 10, presented by Uber One. So Dan, they're really excited to be on. I think they're on with Pardon My Takes and other shows as well.
Yes. So if you're a student out there watching this show, we're going to be on campus a bunch this year. So we're excited to welcome a great new partner to the college football show, Uber One for Students. They're debuting an amazing new program with Uber One for Students. Uber One for Students gives college students all the benefits of a regular Uber One membership for half the regular price, just $4.99 a month. So college kids, this is a no-brainer. Some benefits include $0 delivery fee, up to 10% off Uber Eats orders, and even earn 6% Uber cash back on Uber rides. If you're a college kid, you're ordering Uber Eats, you're getting in Ubers all the time. This is a no-brainer. Get you money back. Get additional daily free items and more discounts from your favorite brands. Sign up now in the Uber or Uber Eats app and get 4 weeks free.
This is an absolute no-brainer. Like if you're in college,
We're basically giving you money. Uber's giving you money, so you have to sign up. I mean, you use Uber. I use Uber Eats all the time. I wish I was still a college student. I'd sign up for this.
You'd be like losing money if you didn't do this.
Yes.
I use an Uber that's all in the same thing now.
Yeah.
Uber Eats, Uber, it's fantastic. So we used to do where we'd all unveil our top 10s. Now they have like a little formula. They do our communal top 10. So we have no idea where it's going to land. So let's see. By the way, the one that's behind Dan is the AP top 10. So let's see what the Barstool College Football Show top 10 is. Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, Alabama, Ole Miss, Penn State, Michigan, Washington, and Utah. Anybody have any issues?
All right. I got a question. Dave, where did you put Ohio State to make them fall from 2 to 3?
My rankings, and I think it's really the only fair way to do it. I had Michigan 1. I think we can all, that's fair. National champs, defending champs, haven't lost a game in forever. 2, I had Washington. They came in second last year. They lost in the national championship game. 3, I had Alabama because Alabama came in third last year. They lost to the eventual national champ. 4, Texas. I didn't rank anything beyond those 4 because it's so early. Rankings, the only thing you have is how it ended. We're the defending champs. We're number 1 in the country until we lose. That's just how it goes. I don't care about what Brandon Walker thinks. If we cared about what Brandon Walker thinks or what Brandon Walker
number 1
thinks,
in the country. All of your
would be the national champs.
Your coaches left. Your coaches couldn't stay around. There's something that forced them out. Your coaches left. Your players left. Nobody's still there. You're not number 1 in the country.
But Brandon, you made a blood oath with me last year. You were so confident. You don't know what you're talking about. You're wrong about Michigan every single time. Year after year after year after year. You're just wrong.
This is going to be
Every dog has their day.
This is going to be the greatest year. As soon as Texas mollywops in, just drags them titties to the mud.
Michigan's going to focus on last year.
It's all last year.
Michigan's going to beat them.
2023. All last year.
Michigan's going to beat Texas. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter what Michigan does this year.
Okay, so nothing matters from here on out. It's over. College football.
Correct. We ended the college football rivalry, Michigan and Ohio. It's over. We won it. The book is closed. Brandon, it's before Christ, after Christ. We're after now. It's Michigan, Georgia, but Ohio's
knows. He knows.
I'm scared.
He knows what's going to happen in November. He knows.
He's terrified.
Speaking of Texas and Michigan, we are going to be there. So, Brandon, do you think that you're going to get booed more than Ev in Ann Arbor next week?
I mean, I did last year. I
know, but
well, no. We don't care. Brandon Walker is like a peasant, a serf. Like we don't give a fuck about Brandon Walker.
Not care when you're right. You're right.
We're celebrating. That Michigan-Texas game is going to be a celebration of life, joy, football, and the national championship. We don't care about you.
I am excited to go back to Ann Arbor. It'll be fun. That house is always a good time, and the crowd keeps getting bigger. We'll be there live at 10:30 Eastern at 1300 South Main.
The winningest college football program of all time.
Dan, we thought that
of
this
all time, most wins, national champions, all of it. We have it all.
Remember last year, Dan, how you said that we should just roll Dave out there for that game and let him do a show by himself?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a prime example of
that.
Like, there's no reason for anybody else to be there.
I think also, I think Evan and Brandon are struggling a little bit because they don't know this Dave because he's actually had a little bit of a drought. Obviously, the Celtics won, but yeah, I've known this Dave forever. Mm-hmm. There's nothing you can do.
This is what you said. This was like his Thanos.
There's nothing you can do. He just this is mid 2010s Dave, where every year he just won something.
But I've accepted it. Like I haven't ran from it. I said don't take the title away. I've accepted it. We're on 20.
Oh, big man. Thanks, Ev. You have the you can't take the title. It's our title. Thanks, buddy.
I'm not running from it. I'm not hiding from it. We're taking it head on.
Is Texas going to win?
And by the way, I'm going to say this. When Michigan beats Ohio this year, it is going to be the funniest thing ever. It is going to be Ryan Day will be fired maybe before he gets off the field. You have all these guys. What makes you think is going to change? Ohio, Walker, you guys play pussy football. You're pussies. You're pussies. And we're the champs. And we're big and we're bad and we're mean. And Sharon Moore is big and he's bad and he's mean. And you guys are weak. You're weak little boys. And we slam it down your throat every year. And every year it's the same thing. Thank you. Thank you, my loyal subjects.
That's the College Football Show. We'll see you next week in Ann Arbor.
We better go to Columbus. If not, he's a pussy. He knows he's not going to Columbus. He's a pussy.
We're still arguing. Brandon's walked out. Welcome back.